This is the new Accu-Sled II. It's a sled that rides on the rail in the Accu-Slice system. It's 4 inches wide by 30 inches long, and it's really designed for cutting long boards. You cut boards as long as probably 4 feet on this. It consists of a flat plate, which is a 1/2 inch thick, has a bunch of T-slots running both directions, and a bunch of 1/4 20 thread per inch holes tapped in. And this is designed for various jigs for cutting different types of boards and different configurations. I have 2 configurations I'll be showing here that I just recently made. This is my first jig, and I made some angle irons. These are 3/8 inch thick angles, 4 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And I made them with holes in that mount into this carriage, into the slots. This sacrificial fence is 36 inches long, and this just attaches to the Accu-Slice II, or excuse me, the Accu-Sled II, with some threaded bolts, some thumb screws. Now I have attached a 6-foot rail onto the Accu-Slice system, and I've attached the long board. This board is 36 inches long, and it's just attached to the sacrificial fence with double-sided tape. Okay, that worked quite well. Nice thin strip of wood, perfectly flat and straight. Now let me cut one more piece. Let's try maybe cutting a piece maybe 10/1000 inch thick. And once again, that worked perfectly. So this works as well, if not better, than the other sacrificial fence. It's really designed for cutting longer boards. I could put a sacrificial fence on here up to 4 foot long and still cut boards. But this is designed, it's 30 inches long, and requires at least a 6-foot rail to operate. If I was to cut 4 foot long boards, I probably need to put a an 8-foot rail on. Again, it rides on the roller bearings just like the other carriages, and all these different slots and holes enables you to make various jigs for it. So let me go and attach my second jig that I just made with the offset clamps. Okay, this jig uses some of my offset clamps, and I made some channels here with sliding pieces in that I can adjust my offset cams without having a bunch of screw holes in it. So it's a quite quick, easy way to adjust these clamps. So this is a test piece. I'm just giving it a try, and we'll see how it works. This jig is really designed because a customer asked to rip some boards in half. He was making some jewelry boxes, and he didn't want to glue the boards to the fence just to cut it in half. Then you got to pry it off the sacrificial fence with the double-sided tape. He didn't want to glue it because then you have to cut the glue off. I wanted a quick, easy way to clamp the board, cut it down the middle, and get your 2 pieces of wood to make some jewelry boxes. So these quick offset clamps hold the wood. They clamp on about a 1/4 inch of the surface of the wood. So as long as you want a board that's at least a 1/4 inch thick, this works quite nicely. So I have a piece of wood here, probably about 34 inches long. I clamped it with these offset clamps. I have 5 of them on here, and they hold it quite nicely. And so now I'll attach it to this new carriage. These are these L brackets that I made, and I just screw into the sacrificial fence. Now what I'd like to do is put a little bit of a spacer underneath it, such that it doesn't bind. You want to make sure this doesn't bind on the table as you're using it. So I just usually use a thin piece of wood, maybe something 20-25 inch thick, just to keep the fencing board off the bandsaw table, just a slight amount. And I'll kind of center this and then attach it with some screws. This board actually has a gap in it, and it's not perfectly flat, so is attaching the fence at the edges, and in the center here is about a 32nd of an inch gap. So it's not exactly tight against the fence, but it should work fine. Should clamp the wood and should be able to cut it the entire length. So this first cut will just be to try and square the board off, because it is not perfectly flat. So taking off maybe more than a 1/16 of an inch off the edge here. So that board wasn't just bowed, but it actually tapered from the one side to the other. I had to do 3 cuts just to get it flat and straight. So now I got it a good surface. Let me try cutting a piece of wood that's try maybe 1/15,000 inch thick. So that cut pretty well. I really didn't design this for doing this, but it'll cut thin pieces. I really designed it for cutting boards in half, but it can take thin slices off a board. That worked quite nicely. Let's do one a little bit thicker. So that's an 1/8 of an inch thick on that board. Just make sure it clears the clamps. You don't want to be cutting into your clamps. And that's what I really designed it for, is cutting some thicker boards. That's an 1/8 inch thick board. That worked out quite nicely. Okay, just showing how these offset clamps work here. I have a set screw that you loosen, and you can move this up and down. And then find some place to lock it in place with the handle pointing up. And then when you push it down, it locks it in place. Same thing here. You can just do this, and I can even put this handle down. Just clamp in a lower position, that's all. So this worked quite nicely. One issue that may be a case is these set screws are tending to put some dings in this aluminum channel. So we may want to make this channel out of stainless or something that's a little bit stronger, or use some set screws out of that are brass that aren't as strong as these stainless steel set screws. So that's 2 jigs that I made for this new Accu-Sled II, designed for cutting longer boards on the Accu-Slice system.